So the Scary Tales dolls have actually made it into the Argos by us now. So we're suffering from the curse of Europeanization at the moment. So we have Monster High written up here. I'm pretty sure that at one point it's supposed to say a Monster High story, and then at another point it's supposed to say Scarily Ever After, and then at another point it's supposed to say Scary Tales. But on our one, which is the Europeanized one, we have the Monster High thing going down the side, and then it just says Frankie Stein, no, as Threaderella or Daughter of Frankenstein. And then it's meant to be decorated like the front cover of a fairy tale book. So that's the decoration on the edge of the book cover. And this would be the spine of the book, so we have Monster High with a book rather than a Monster High story. Or Scarily Ever After. And then we have cobweb designs, Monster High logo. When the camera focuses, there's some little swirls at the end. And more cobwebs. And then we have Threaderella written in many different languages. So then on the back of the box, now in America, Frankie was moved over to the side more, and it had the first verse of her little storybook written at the side. So we just have a picture of Frankie as Threaderella with Holt in the background holding her shoe, which she is also holding. It's like some kind of temporal shift in time and space, and everything's gone a bit wrong. So then we have the other two that are available at the side there. They also had Draculaura in stock where we were, but we haven't seen a Claudine yet. So then all of the details and things we don't need to know about. And then the entire outside of the book, to emphasise the book theme. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera very well, but there's lines down the side like pages, and that also continues on the top of the box. Not on the bottom though, because that's where all of their copyright stuff's listed. So we'll get her out of the box, and then I'll talk to you about this empty circle on her backing. So here is Scary Tales Frankie / Threaderella in the box. Again, we have the Holt there with the shoe which she's wearing, so there's still a bit of a temporal shift going on with time and space. So we have a Europeanized book, unfortunately, so we won't have exactly the same as the American version. So
but it's sparkly.
It is sparkly. It's very metallic, and that's nice. So this circle here, I don't know why they bothered keeping it in. Maybe they thought they could pass it off as the moon or something. Because in the American boxes, this bit here says, once upon a time there was a ghoul who, and then something to do with the character. So I can't remember exactly what hers was, but it's something to do with like wishing for more or something like that. So we just have the blank circle, and then she has a clear stand by the looks of things. The clip is under here. I just checked to make sure it was actually in there. So there is Frankie on the backing there, next to the little picture of Holt, and we have some lovely 3D trees. It's actually a very nice looking box. We were actually thinking about using this backing card when we display her, because it is a very nice box design. They've done well with these. So then there's the hairbrush camouflaged in with the trees there. I think we can just leave that out of the end review. You've seen what the brush looks like now. That's all it really does. So we'll get her off of the back packaging and take a closer look at her and her book, find out what's in there. So here we have Threaderella out of the box. So starting from the top as we usually do, I've literally just realised that from the side, how they've done her hair makes it look like she has a gigantic forehead. So basically they've rooted her hair in the same way as they would with the basic doll, and then they have wrapped a lot of it up into curls on the top of her head. It's supposed to look like ringlets, like on the book here, but it kind of... there's a lot of white in it, so it's not really all that detailed, I guess, as on the one on the book, because you can see the black in there. But pretty much all of the ringlets are white, except for maybe one. So that's a nice puffy bit on the top of her head. So she's wearing a tiara, which is made to look like pins, needles and thread. So the thread is basically wound round to give it the crown shape. So that's held onto her head with an elastic band, so I don't think we're ever going to be removing that, because otherwise it'll probably just fall off of her head. So her earrings are needles, I think, which have been pinned into her ear through the little eye there. Now her eye makeup, she has silver at the top, and then a slight brown line, and then blue next to her eye, and I think it's blue and then silver under the eye as well. And then she has a greyish blue coloured lipstick. And one thing we've noticed is, if I just grab Gloom Beach Frankie a sec, her eyebrows are a lighter colour than they usually are, and her eyes are actually printed in a darker blue and green than they usually would be. So it's especially noticeable, I think, on the green eye. You can see that one's more of a pea green and that's more of a pine green. So I don't know if that's something that they're starting with these new Frankie dolls, or if this is just kind of a mismatched one that they've done. So because she's one of the special kinds of Frankie dolls, they've given her metallic bolts. Apparently one thing to look out for on this doll is some of them have been completely printed wrong and they don't actually have her face stitch. So I have no idea how that made it through quality control. So she's wearing a dress which is made of 3 different types of material and then a netting part. So she has a silver glittery material which has a band here as a second sleeve, and then a band here by her legs keeping her dress together. Then there's a blue part of it which is the generic princess puffy sleeve, and the puffy part on the outside of her dress, like the generic princess dress, and then she has another piece of material here just keeping the netting in. And then she has her red plaid, because she always has something in a plaid design, so this part I think goes all the way around, and so does this one, so it's also plaid on the back. And apparently there's a little back bit here next to the bump in her dress which is made of the same silver material. So then an entire half of her skirt is made up of netting. So we noticed when it's actually in the box, this part's folded up a bit, and it actually does go all the way up to her thigh. So if this part isn't careful and actually folded down, you can see absolutely everything. This bit actually does make it so you can only see up to the stitching on her thigh though. So I think we can forgive her for that and try and preserve her modesty. So her shoes, someone I think on the internet thought that they were just reusing ones of her mall outfit with the pie. I think that's just because of the coloration. It's blue and red like the pie one, but it's completely different because the front is actually sewn by Frankie in a kind of a corset style, and then wrapped around at her ankle and secured in with the needle. So it is quite literally sewn onto her foot. So then the blue part has also been kind of haphazardly sewn together, and then she has a pair of scissors as each heel. Now they're slightly soft plastic, so you'll need to be careful when you're putting on the stand. So it's like that on each shoe. And this is the one that falls off in the story, because you can see the stitch for her foot is right by where the shoe finishes, so not only does the shoe fall off, her entire foot falls off, which I think was quite a nice addition to the story. So with these you get an awesome SDCC-esque stand, so it's just black at the bottom, but then you get a see-through stand for the back part and the clip. So I think that probably all stands should be done like that, but with a colour-coded base for the characters. So then for the accessories, we have her bag, which is a spool of thread, which has this little decorative bit for the handle with some beads on. And then I assume this is like pins that she stuck in it or something, but it does actually open if you push one of them forward. I can't figure out which one it is at the moment. Is this even the right side? Yes, it is. So the one on the... why isn't it opening? There we go, the one on the left. And then you can fold it out and it literally opens the entire way. I don't know what would go in there, but you can open it. So she has a little round bag. And then the book that we've been given, it is slightly Europeanized, but not as badly as the ones from the classroom dolls. So we have the picture of Threaderella on the front, and then Frankie Stein as Threaderella. I'm pretty sure on the American ones it just says the name of the doll in the line. So we have all of the pictures, which is great, because that means that when we get the Claudine one, we get pictures of Heath. So we have all of the pictures, but instead of a verse from a poem, we get a short segment of an actual story, so there's no rhyming or anything, which is slightly unfortunate, and it's in all the different European languages, but we do get the full story. So we get all of the pictures. So we get Abby's awesome outfit, which they really need to make because look at her hair. And then little Jackson up in the corner there. And Prince Holt at the end of the story. So we do actually have the story, and then they lived scarily ever after in many different European countries. So I guess we can forgive them for that, but it would have been nice if we'd had the actual poem, and if they actually gave us the same boxes as they do in America. But they are improving on their Europeanization skills. So hopefully we'll be able to track down the other two in the Scary Tales set, and we'll do reviews for them when we get them.